Hey Coco, good them up. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment, and today we're reacting to another fairy fid. This one we put up on the channel, and before we even get into it, remember folks, if you want your comments read out and if you want to get stuck into some discussions regarding the Sopranos and plenty other television shows, then you get in our comment section, head over to the community page, the post page, and get involved. There's new posts every other day regarding your favourite TV shows, so yeah. I don't know, someone's cutting the grass down there, but the question is, we put it up a week ago, did Tony overreact with Coco? Sopranos season 6 fairy. We got 153 votes on the matter, and in last spot we put up 3 options. 14% going yes, way too far. Obviously Coco was a made guy, the step wasn't, or whatever. I don't know. Made guy, you know, he's a Libertazzi soldier, but let's be honest, man, you know, goes up to Meadow Soprano, makes sexual jokes, sexually harasses her, touches her, refers to, like, you know, cream around her mouth, blowjob, you know what I mean, all that stuff. And it's like, if Jersey is a glorified crew, right, which honestly, looking at their, you know, no, but see, I think of it, right, if you look at the way Tony handled Coco, like, just walks into the restaurant, fucking stamps on the back of his head, beats the shit out of him, threatens to kill Butch like 4 times. See if they handled the New York crew like that in the last 2 episodes, Jersey would have wiped the floor with them. But it's almost like Tony doesn't, and I think it just proves, though, that Tony doesn't really care about his crew anywhere near as much about his family. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely not. And it's like, look at how far he went for Meadow. But, you know, like, Bobby dies, Sil's in a coma, he can't even be arse visiting Sil till, like, really late on in the finale. So it just shows you, like, I mean, family comes first for Mr. Tony Soprano. Like, AJ kills himself, or no, tries to. My baby! You know what I mean? So, yeah, so, did he go too far? There's yes and no, right? Obviously by, like, the letter the law he did, but for me, I mean, it's your daughter, your top man, for fuck's sake, you have to do something to this. Then, the second option, in the middle, he should have sanctioned it first. Got 20% of the votes. So obviously what this is saying essentially is that, yes, what he did was fine, but he should have sanctioned it. But just like the whole Ginny Sack joke, how does he, you know, how do they go about it? Say he tries to get it sanctioned in New York, refuse. And at that point, I mean, the relationship's strained. Like, you know, it's not even a case like with the Ginny Sack joke and Ralph. It's like, right, how much money do you want, John? Do you want 400k? And he's like, is that going to restore my wife's honour? What next? He gets to fuck her for $1 million? You know, it's like, what truly was next? Like, what offers were left on the table? One. You know, that's what I think's pretty good about it, but I think you can sanction all you want, but you know, there has to be conversations with New York. And like I say, man, I don't think New York's going to let it happen. No, I think an interesting conversation would have been, like, what would, you know, what would Sil, what would Polly, what would Bobby have thought of sanctioning any form of hit on Coco due to this remark? You know, would they have defended Tony to the end about this? But, you know, it stems back to the whole stuff, like the jokes that Polly made about Chris's daughter, who's like a literal baby. You know, you can say it's just words, right? And I guess Coco did touch Meadow's face, but, you know, it's just like, where do you draw the line? You know what I mean? It's like, if Chris was going out with Meadow, right, and Polly sniffed her underwear, would he be alive to tell the story? Honestly, don't know if Tony would have killed him, but I think he would have kicked his, you know, his fucking cunt in, to say the least. And then that, my friends, leaves us with a final option of 66% no. Tony didn't overreact, you don't mess with his family. And again, I totally understand this. I think this is the correct call, to be honest, because it's not an overreaction. Like, even if I mean, I guess you could say if he killed him, right? But as Polly said, this thing of ours and families don't really go. They don't to a degree. They don't. I mean, you look at the families, like the April family. I mean, Rosaline at the end, she's not a care in the world because they feel close to her date. You know what I mean? But anyway, got 2 comments. Paul Carpenter says the question is, did Coco go a little far on Meadow? And definitely, he did. I guess there's no real complaining there. What's the other comment? James Toner, Tony should have whacked Rusty in this scene. It wasn't Rusty, what's his name, bitch? You can tell Tony Lily has enough of that little shit's crap. Personally, Tony didn't take it too far. Coco shouldn't have done that. He got what he deserved. Guy's a drunken idiot who should have known better. I think Meadow should have said, you know, my father's Tony Soprano. Coco could have backed off, but if Meadow did say it in defence, but since he was drunk, I doubt it. But I mean, he literally did say to him, like, you're Tony Soprano's kid, so that you can say that much that you knew. It was just another example of New York pushing their luck with Jersey. It's like Fat Dom coming over and cracking every joke under the sun about Fito and not expecting any repercussions, man. Ludicrous. And Fat Dom ended up like Coco. Well, you argue Coco up ended worse, man. I don't think Coco's got any teeth left.